In The Bold and the Beautiful, the line between innocence and intent fractures the moment Electra Forrester realizes that Dylan is not merely infatuated with Will Spencer, but methodically constructing a trap around him. What first registers as unease hardens into dread as Electra uncovers the architecture of deception, messages fabricated with calculated timing, evidence planted with surgical care, and a manufactured scenario designed to make Will appear compromised, unfaithful, and morally suspect. The discovery lands not as a single revelation, but as a sequence of confirmations, each one stripping away the comfort of doubt and replacing it with the chilling certainty that this has been planned, rehearsed, and meant to culminate in public ruin. Electra's response is immediate and visceral. Jealousy flares, but it is braided with panic and a deeper terror that surprises even her, the fear of losing the identity she has spent years curating. She has been the reasonable one, the principled one, the girl whose goodness felt unquestioned. To intervene now means stepping into the mess, getting her hands dirty, risking the very image that has protected her. Yet inaction feels worse. The thought of Will standing alone under the weight of a lie presses on her chest, and she moves to stop the damage with a speed that blurs judgment. Each attempt to dismantle Dylan's scheme sharpens the stakes, drawing Electra closer to a confrontation she did not plan and cannot fully control. The night everything collapses does not arrive with melodrama, but with chaos voices raised too quickly, a struggle born of desperation rather than malice, a misstep that turns catastrophic. The death of Dylan is not an execution. It is a fall from balance, a collision of fear and force, a body meeting the wrong surface at the wrong angle. A piece of evidence lies where it should not, its placement screaming accident to those who know how to look and intention to those who want to believe the worst. In the stunned quiet that follows, Electra understands that the world has shifted and that whatever she was before has been irrevocably altered. From that moment, Electra learns a new skill set with frightening efficiency. She studies the room, the timelines, the silences. She learns how to move objects without drawing attention, how to edit memory by omission, how to tell the truth in fragments that sound complete. The girl who feared losing her reputation discovers that concealment offers a different kind of power, one that rewards calm over confession. Guilt remains, but it is compartmentalized, stored behind a composed exterior that convinces others and sometimes herself that control has been restored. What lingers is not just the weight of what happened, but the realization of what Electra has become capable of. She did not set out to destroy, she set out to protect. Yet protection demanded choices that rewired her moral compass, teaching her that virtue can be preserved in appearance while corroding beneath the surface. In saving Will from a lie, she buried a truth far more dangerous. The transformation is complete not because she is cruel, but because she is careful. And in that carefulness, Electra crosses a threshold from which there is no easy return, emerging not as a saint undone, but as a master of concealment who understands, at last, the cost of survival. In the aftermath of Dylan's death, The Bold and the Beautiful pivots into a darker register where truth becomes malleable and virtue turns dangerously subjective. Almost immediately, the trail begins to point toward Will Spencer with unnerving precision. Security footage is mysteriously erased at the exact moment that might have offered clarity. Fingerprints appear on an object he insists he never touched. And a witness recalls overhearing a heated argument between Will and Dylan shortly before everything went wrong. Each detail feels less like coincidence and more like a narrative assembling itself around him, one that invites judgment before it allows understanding. Standing at the center of this tightening circle is Electra Forrester, immobilized by a choice that offers no clean escape. She knows the truth is jagged and incomplete, that revealing it would unravel more than the case, it would expose her own role, her frantic decisions, and the split-second judgment that turned chaos into catastrophe. To speak now would save Will, but it would also dismantle the image she has guarded with near-religious devotion. The good girl, the moral compass, the one who never crosses the line. Silence. on the other hand, preserves that image while allowing Will to drift toward condemnation, carrying a burden that was never meant to be his alone. Electra's internal conflict is not framed as cowardice, but as a warped sense of responsibility. She convinces herself that withholding the truth is a form of protection, that absorbing the guilt privately is preferable to detonating lives publicly. Each small act failing to correct a timeline, allowing a planted fingerprint to stand. Nodding through testimony that edges closer to fiction feels to her like a calculated sacrifice in service of a greater good. Yet the irony sharpens with every step. The more she tries to do what feels right in her own moral calculus, the deeper she sinks into deception. Her silence becomes an accomplice, her composure a mask that hides a growing fracture. As the investigation advances, the pressure reshapes Electra. She learns how to manage scrutiny, how to redirect questions without lying outright, how to let assumptions do the work she refuses to do herself. It is here that her transformation crystallizes not into a villain driven by malice, but into something more unsettling, a guardian of appearances who equates goodness with control. The saintly image remains intact, polished, and admired, even as it shelters decisions that corrode her from within. Guilt does not vanish, it calcifies, becoming a constant weight she carries with practiced grace. The tragedy of this arc lies in its logic. Electra's righteousness does not fail her all at once. It bends, adapts, and justifies until it becomes unrecognizable. By choosing silence to save herself, she tells herself she is also saving Will from a truth too explosive to survive. But as evidence continues to mount and Will edges closer to ruin, the question grows unavoidable. How much harm can be done in the name of being good? In this distorted sanctity, Electra discovers that morality, once bent to protect an image, can become its own kind of crime, one that demands ever greater sacrifices and leaves no one untouched.